Hi, Marilene. How are you?
Hello, good morning, good evening, friend. I'm good. How are you?
Thank you. Thanks a lot. So, thanks for joining us. I
My
was waiting.
pleasure.
Okay, I was waiting for you to come. So, like always, I'm going to close the comments, and also we already sent you some questions. So please go ahead.
Okay, so the first question is, uh, it is from Mustafa Abidi, and the question was, can you explain about immigration to Atlantic provinces? It is possible to get a job offer. All right, so that's the first question. It's a long, long one. So first, for the Atlantic provinces, everybody that wants to immigrate there can apply through federal programs, as you can do in any other province, can apply through the provincial programs, sorry, as you can do in any other province, but you have a plus. You have the Atlantic Immigration Program, which is becoming permanent starting in January 2022. Was a pilot at the beginning and now it's becoming permanent. Okay, so I would say that Atlantic provinces offer like more opportunities, considering that besides the standard federal and provincial streams, you also have a specific stream for those who are planning on moving to one of the Atlantic provinces. The Atlantic Immigration Program specifically requires a job offer. So they have pretty much three categories. One, that's skilled worker, that you are required to have a job offer in a field that you have at least 1 year of experience in the past 3 years. This experience cannot be self-employed. You need the bare minimum of English and you need at least high school, and of course, whatever is required for you to perform your occupation. Okay, so this is the skilled worker. We have the international graduates stream. That's for those who have graduated in a public school in one of the Atlantic provinces. All right, so in this case, the requirements are very similar, but instead of having to prove experience of 1 year in that specific occupation, you need to graduate in one of the public schools, right? And you have to have a job offer as well upon graduation. Okay, so it is important to say that there is no possibility if you immigrate, if you stay in a private program, to immigrate to the immigration, to immigrate through the Atlantic Immigration Program, but there is also few exceptions in some of the provincial programs. So New Brunswick, for example, offer a stream specific for those who study in a private program. So all depends on your planning and how you qualify for immigration. So if you study in a public, in any province, you have a job offer, you qualify for the Atlantic Immigration Program through the International Graduate Stream. If you study in a private college, then the focus should be the province of New Brunswick, because New Brunswick has this special program that allows people that study in a private program to qualify for immigration. And lastly, there is a third stream on the immigration program, the Atlantic Immigration Program, that's for semi-skilled workers. So people that are not in a skilled worker position, but also has a job offer. So it's very similar to the skilled worker stream. However, it allows people that are not in skilled occupations to apply as long as they meet the requirements. And these are in specific occupations that are in demand in the province. Let's go ahead and reply to the second question. It was submitted by Forher Sa. The question was, is it possible to apply for Nova Scotia Entrepreneurship Program with diploma degree, and it is possible to submit the proof of language document a few months later? Okay, well, diploma degree, yes, you can, because the minimum requirement for the Nova Scotia entrepreneur is for you to be at least 21 years old, intention to live in Nova Scotia, of course, you have to prove that for any provincial program, have a net worth of 600 Canadian thousand dollars, be able to invest 150,000 Canadian dollars to establish the business, have 3 years of work experience managing a business or in a senior business management position, have at least CLB5 in English or French, right? And have the invitation from novice coaches. So it is not there is not a requirement for the diploma degree, any requirement for education. So yes, if you can add that, it is a plus, but it's not a problem. However, as you see here, there is a specific requirement for you to meet the language requirements of CLB5, which is not much, before you can submit an expression of interest. So you cannot submit a few months later. You have to have the test ready before you apply for the program, okay? Okay, the next question is a very interesting one. It is a question from Negin Kalantari, and her question was, hello, my sister lives in Canada. I want to immigrate, but I don't know how to, use permits or study permits. I have a coaching degree in physical fitness. I have a professional technical degree in Photoshop, and I also have a bachelor degree in ethics and a bachelor degree in law. And again, it seems that you have a very good and strong profile, and you may qualify for express entry. And having your sister in Canada, if your sister is a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident of Canada, you will receive additional 15 points in your profile by having a sister here in Canada. If your sister lives in Manitoba, for example, Manitoba has a provincial program for skilled worker overseas. And if you have a family member that's living in the province of Manitoba, then you receive additional points and may qualify for the provincial nominee program of Manitoba as well, right? Of course, we have to assess what are the possibilities according to your profile. I would say that study and work permit could be also an option, and we can add the support of your sister here. But I would recommend you to have a consultation to determine the best strategy for you. But you are in advantage because you already have 15 points guaranteed on express entry by having a sister. So let's go to the next question. The question was sent by Persian Paper Arts. And the question was, how to find a foreign employer for job offer when we are in Iran? How important are age and work experience? And how long does it take the job offer? How long does the job offer process take? How and for how long does this process take to reach PR? Wow, so many questions, and it's a very, very long answer. So the first thing you need to know that to find a job offer in Canada, it really depends on the professional field that you work. Some areas have a very high demand, and it's very likely that you can find an employer that's willing to support you. And other areas, even though it has high demand, the employers continue to be able to find people in Canada to perform their job. So they will be more likely less willing to support you. So it really depends on your experience, on your expertise, if you're very good on what you do. And I would say if you're very good on what you do, regardless of the field, you might have a chance, right? There is only one disclaimer for regulated occupations. So occupations that you need a regulation to practice, most likely you have to either come to study or start your validation process from outside Canada in order to qualify. And not all occupations will allow you to validate your degree while outside Canada. So it pretty much depends on what you do. I'm seeing here that because of your Instagram name is Paper Arts, I'm assuming that you are a designer, a graphic designer, because of your name on Instagram. And graphic design is not a regulated occupation. And if you are a very skilled professional, you have indeed a chance to get a job offer from overseas. We do have our career division, a Visa Talent Hub, that can assist you to understand how is your professional field in Canada, what are the provinces and locations that have more opportunities for your career, and also can assist you in preparing a strong resume, a strong LinkedIn to be more visible and likable by Canadian employers, right? So this is a service provided by our career consultant here in Canada through our career division that's called eVisa Talent Hub. And in this consulting service that we offer, we also will accompany you to give you tips and tricks for you to increase your chances of getting a job offer from overseas, okay? Your second question is, how important are age and work experience? So the first thing, age. In Canada, it is prohibited asking how old you are. Okay, this is not an information that you put on your resume. That's not something that they will ever ask you. Of course, sometimes you do a video interview, they will have a pretty good understanding about your age and by looking at your experience and your resume, but they're not allowed to ask your age. And I see that in a lot of countries, age is very important. You become less hireable once you are older, but in Canada, I see that this most cases don't happen. Like before working at eVisa, for example, in the leading eVisa, I worked in Canadian companies, and I was actually surprised with the number of people that were older and were in the workforce, well respected, and was a good thing about this. Is a good thing about Canada, right? Well, regarding work experience, then it's very important, right? Because they won't hire somebody that they have to go through all the paperwork if that person does not have good experience. So you can get a job offer from outside Canada when you are a skilled worker. And then by definition, I would say a skilled worker has to have some experience. And depending on the process that we choose, you be at least 1 year of experience in order for you to apply for any program. But because the government of Canada require in most programs that that the employer pays certain amount of dollars for your salary if they are supporting you from overseas, this is more likely for professionals that are a little bit more experienced, like at least 2-3 years of experience at least. Of course, depends on the area. For example, for construction, the demand is so high, or for cooks, for example, the demands are so high that even though like you don't have 1 year of experience, eventually it is possible that the process can be successful because the demand, it is very high. If you're a programmer, the demand is very high, but they're not looking for juniors most cases. They are looking for experienced programmers, for example. So it really depends, and all of these can be customized for you during our career consultation package, okay? Your next question was, how long does the job offer process take? So there's not only one process to follow, right? And we can verify what type of programs and process would you qualify, and each one of them would have a different processing time frame. So for example, if you qualify for Global Talent Stream, which is focused on tech positions, but does include senior graphic designers there, for example, it is a 2-week processing for the LMIA, and then 2 weeks processing for your work permit. So it's amazing and very fast. If you do not qualify for Global Talent Stream, but you qualify for LMIA, for example, LMIA is about 6 to 8 weeks just to prepare the application because it requires full recruitment of at least 4 weeks. So we need at least 6 to 8 weeks to prepare. And the processing time of the government is about 3 to 4 months, 3 to 6 months for them to review and approve. And then you apply for work permit, and then according to processing time in Iran, the work permit is currently about 5 months processing time. So it can take up to a year for you to arrive in Canada if you have an LMIA, if you apply for LMIA. And sometimes can be sooner. It really depends. For example, even LMIA, some occupations are prioritized, like butchers, agricultural workers. These occupations are prioritized, so wouldn't take the 3 to 6 months that I mentioned to you that would take. So really depends. Some occupations, for example, we can use instead of using the LMIA, we can use the provincial program. And some provincial programs are faster. For example, if you qualify for BC Tech pilot, which is not a pilot anymore, sorry, BC Tech, it is 30 days preparation, 2 weeks processing time in most cases, right? If you don't qualify, most provincial programs in all provinces take about 3 months to review your application. So each case, it is different. And this also relates to your next question, which is how and for how long does this process take to reach PR, right? Really depends on your qualification. If you will qualify through Express Entry, if you qualify through a process outside Express Entry, I would say it would be between 1 to 2 years, depending on your qualification. So I have a question here about the question is from S.Moktari, sorry. The question is, when we proceed study visa and dependent visa, how long later can I apply for a tourist visa for my wife and another son, and how long does it take? Okay, so there's no restriction of how long you should wait until you apply. What has to make sense is like how applying now makes sense with the story that you told on your application about not applying with them at the beginning, right? So as far as I understand your questions, like, can I apply for my study visa without my wife and children? And then
sorry, Marlene, sorry to interrupt you. No, the question is something else, right?
Okay.
So the question is that he or she wants to apply for the study permit of the daughter, for example, and the mother wants to get visitor visa in order to join the daughter, right? And then it seems that the husband is still in Iran and another children is still in Iran.
Okay, in this case, we can apply all together, right? There is no limitation to apply. We should apply all together, so everybody would get the approval at the same time. If you choose to apply later, there is also no problem, right? The main point here is that you are keeping the ties to your home country once you continue to be in Iran. You said as a wife, so I mean, you, the head of the family, the man that's providing the financial support for your child and son to be here, you'll be in Iran. So this proves that you continue to establish ties to your home country. So shouldn't be a problem for you to apply all together or even apply right away. Okay, if you apply all together, the decisions is all together at the same time. If you apply after, we always have to check the processing time on the website. It is coming down, and this is actually good news. It was like over 700 days during the pandemic, and of course we're still during the pandemic, but now on the website it shows 160 days. So it is a little bit 5.5 months currently, and it's coming down every month. So really the processing time really depends on when you apply. Okay. There is a second part of your question which says, I have a dependent visa. How long does it take for the rest of my family to join me in Canada if I get study visa? Well, we have to assess your situation. In most cases, we are applying for the entire family as a whole. But if you wanted to apply later, in this case, as I mentioned, it would be about 5.5 months for them to have the visitor visa. And if your wife, for example, is coming for the work permit to apply later, it's also about 19 weeks, which is also about 5 months. So in most cases, we are now advising clients to apply all together, but we need to do a full assessment to see which situation is best for your case. And you also ask here, which school and which city I will have a better situation, right? Can you tell me which one is a better way? You know, there's not the specific school and specific city that's good for everyone. Every person, you have different goals, different expectations, different immigration plan, different preferences in terms of city infrastructure, for example, whether they may consider, for example, in which province or city their occupation has more opportunities, and all of these has to be taken into consideration. So a few questions for you to have in mind. What's my career back home, and what can I study in Canada that will help me to advance my career back in Iran, right? Because you always have to consider that you are applying for a temporary visa, and you have to demonstrate the intention to return to your home country once you complete the studies. So it has to be something related that will enhance your resume, it will enhance your career opportunities back home. So consider among the options, what city you like the best in terms of cost of living, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of weather, right? And consider the costs, which course would fit better your goals, right? So for example, maybe a course is a little bit more expensive, but it's the best university, and you are interested in studying a very nice university because you wanted to have the best reference in the market. So another one could be a little bit more like cheaper, but meets with your goal that eventually is a little bit less reputable institution in Canada, for example, but it still meets your goal. That's less hard work that you have to put on to complete that degree. So really depends on what are your goals, what are your career, how much money do you have available. So each case is customized, right? And it's during this consultation that we can discuss in detail what options in terms of programs and cities we have available for you that could be a good fit, and then you can do your homework and choose among the options that are related to your professional field, that match your budget and all other considerations, including your immigration plan. So unfortunately, we cannot tell a better way during the live, but we can definitely tell you a better way during a consultation. We do have a few more questions. So actually, there's two questions that are very, very similar, although the answer is quite different. So let me reply one by one. So first one is from Mahbano, Iran. And the question was, hello, I'm a nurse and I'm 49. How can I immigrate to Canada? You know, the government is making a lot of promises for the new future that they will help health professionals, people that work in health, especially nurses, to easily validate their credentials in Canada, because nursing, it is a regulated occupation, okay? Currently, what I'm going to propose you is like, we have few options to consider as a nurse. So first, you could come to study. For example, if you studied a master's in nurse in BC or in Ontario, by completing the master's, you are qualified to immigrate to Canada right away. Age is not a problem, and you don't even require a job offer. Another option that could be, if you focus your efforts in Ontario, they do have the in-demand program, which focus for personal support workers. So let's say if you come to study, or for example, you have a job offer as a personal support worker and you work for 9 months here, with a valid permit, of course, then you can apply to immigrate to Canada through the Ontario Immigration Nominee Program in demand streams, because personal support worker, it is an occupation in demand, and it is always good for nurses, because most people that hire, or companies that hire the personal support workers, is to for this we call PSW, right? For these people to go to either nursing homes or to the house of elderly or people with disability that need some support. For example, just helping them with food and shower and taking their medication. you know, with their regular needs. And this, even though it's not a skilled work occupation, can allow you to migrate to Canada. So Ontario has this in-demand program, but you can also, if you find a job offer from overseas, you can also apply through the pilot program for caring for people with disabilities, for example, and for elderly, which is also a possibility. So just right here, I told you 3 options, right? So by studying, by coming to Ontario and working for 9 months in the Ontario in demand, and applying for the Ontario in the mainstream. And then the third one is to find a job offer and qualify for the pathway program to become a permanent resident through this occupation. As always, we can always discuss in a very detailed way these 3 options and assist you to determine which one's the best for you according to your goals. But in this occupation specifically, age is not a problem. The last one is actually very similar, but I will reply in a very different way. The question is from Irash1576. And the question is, I'm an education retiree. I'm 51 years old. I have a bachelor degree in biology and physical education and a technical degree in computer science. How can I immigrate? Okay, so the first thing that I want to say is, like, as I mentioned previously during this live, age is not supposed to be a problem when you are immigrating with a job offer. So especially like you have a technical degree in computer science, if you can program and you have good skills, you can eventually get a job offer and have many options to apply. But I would say for people on your age, it is more likely that you succeed in entrepreneur streams. So I don't know if you have a business in Canada, a business in Iran, or any senior management experience, but I would say with your multidisciplinary profile, have different knowledge, for example, biology and computer science, I think a good opportunity for you would be the startup visa program. So you could come up, for example, with an innovation idea, and we do have solutions that can assist you to develop that idea. And then once you have an innovative idea, we will submit for our incubators partners that will review your idea, and upon their acceptance, you receive what we call a letter of support. And with this letter of support, we can apply for your work permit, so you can come to Canada and be here sooner, and be here in Canada while waiting for a permanent residency. So the startup visa program does not consider age as a problem. In fact, does not even consider education, but education is always a plus because prove your capacity to develop that business. So for example, if you propose a business, an app, a software, a solution, a device, they usually love these kind of ideas, especially if you mix biology and technology. That's like a very good way to get easy approval from incubators. Then you need only CLB5 on your English or French test. Of course, the approval funds, and you can qualify to immigrate to Canada. So I believe that most people that are a little bit older benefit more for entrepreneur programs, and most of entrepreneur programs, as I initially mentioned during the beginning of the call, would require people to have previous senior management experience or prove that they have owned a business before. And a startup visa program does not require that. So pretty much doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter the experience, doesn't matter the education, as long as you have an innovative idea that's accepted by one of the incubators. And of course, English CLB5, that with dedication, you probably can achieve that by studying, I would say, 6 to 8 months, you can achieve that. So if you can dedicate yourself to achieve that, yeah, you have a possibility right here. And again, like we can always discuss more details during the consultation, but that was the first opportunity that came to mind when I read about our profile.
Okay, thank you, Marlene.
No worries. So it was a pleasure to be today with you and answer our followers' questions. And thank you for trusting Visa. Bye. Have a good one.
Thank you, Marlene, for joining us.